Hey everyone, and welcome to a layout using multiple photos. These are a couple of selfies, not good selfies, because they wouldn't be a selfie of me if they weren't good. So I'm just trimming them down because I've cut them on my selfie, so there's a lot of border and whatnot going on. I just wanted to cut them down, and then because the border wasn't very even on all of them, all three, I then put it onto some cardstock instead. So I'm going to line them up in order, just using normal double-sided tape to attach them. And then all I know so far is I want to use the cardstock with the pink ombre kind of watercolor look, and they've got splatters of the pink down the bottom. And these 3 photos, and that's all I've got going for me at the moment. So let's see how this comes together and what it looks like in the end. So, this is the last project for March, which means our new kit will be unveiled very soon and be sent to us. So hopefully you guys are excited for that and you're ready, and you've used your March kit enough to feel that you're ready to open your April kit, because April is my birthday month, which is awesome month indeed. But anyway, so here's the paper I was talking about. I decided it needed to go this way with these multiple photos, and I wanted to use this tulle as the background. I really love this tulle, and instead of using it as a paper layer, like a layer behind the photos, I cut it in half lengthways. And I was going to do like double up, so that's why I cut it lengthways, but then I needed it for length, and it was enough by itself. So I'm cutting it lengthways, and I'm just going to fold it across the page so that it's a ruffle along that line where the pink ombre paint watercolor is stopping. And that's where my photo is going to sit. So that's what the design of the layout is just this line across the page with the multiple photos and a few embellishment clusters, one with including the title. So you can see here, I'm just folding it all the same way, just scrunching it up along the line. And that makes a lovely little feature and enough ruffles to make it the texture pop, and also be able to see the hearts and the fact that it's tulle. So you can see there, it looks really nice. I was debating whether to put the tulle on top like that or the photo on top. And instead I go with the photo on top. Even though just looking at that now, I'm like, maybe I should have put the tulle on top. But anyway, it's done now, and it is in my album. So I'm just going to add some fun foam just so that it's up high. That ruffle, the tulle ruffle, does add a bit of height. So I need to put some foam there, and then I do need to layer the top half with a bit of foam as well, so that the bottom of that photo sticks up above the tulle. So I do usually do the first layer where the paper joins to the fun foam with double-sided tape, but then the rest of the adhering I do with the wet glue, just so that it can go. I find when you are attaching foam to foam, it doesn't work well with the double-sided tape, so I just use the wet glue. So just tidying up my desk apparently, because I think at this point I was like, now what do I do? Like, can I just call that layout done? So I'm just looking through my kit to work out what I want to use. Not, like I said, I just knew I wanted to use these photos and the pattern paper. The tulle was an obvious decision once I opened the kit box, but the rest I had no idea. I do try the sequin trim, and I looked at the thickers. These little curios, they call them, the Kaiser Craft, they look like flare to me, and they're glass flare, so they're pretty cool. I do end up keeping that one up the top there. Add these resin hearts. It's a nice little cluster starting there. But I just don't know what else really. I pull out this title with the words hello. I really wanted something to sit under the tulle like that, and it looks really nice there. But when I was looking at it that night, I couldn't see it enough. But why can I see it so well on the screen in editing, but not, like, it just doesn't make sense. So I put it up there, but it does get moved down to the bottom right of the photo. It makes a cluster down there. I do pull out the sticker book that we also got from Kaisercraft, and I try and put some layers here. I'm trying to make it work. This is we get 2 of each sheet, so there's lots of these washy little strips. And those Curios Flare, they have the best adhesive in the world. It will not budge. Like, I can't even, like, the shape of it probably helps as well. I can't grasp it enough to pull it off the paper, even just to tuck something slightly underneath the edge of it. It is amazing little glue. So I do pile up and make these 2 clusters here with these flowers, and then the leaves and flowers. But spoiler alert, I put them on and decide I don't like it. So off they come, and I go a bit more simple in my style. But once again, looking at it in hindsight, it's not terrible at all. So I think I was just, you know how you get to that point when you're creating after you've done a few, or it's been a long day, that you're just like, oh, this is not looking good, this is not working, oh, this is my idea, let's try that, oh my god, that's terrible, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just, I think, one of those kind of layouts, and I thought I'd share it with you because we all make those kind of layouts. And I was talking to a friend the other day in regards to mixed media, and she was like, oh, you'd make it look so simple and whatnot. And I said something about, yeah, but you don't see the ones I throw out and whatnot like that. And she said, what? I never knew you threw mixed media layouts. She said, I've seen you make them. You just create and, you know, go ahead with it. I'm like, yeah, but not everything works. And those are usually those true and tried techniques that just work pretty much every time. But when you're trying something new and different, or if you're in a funk, which normally I wouldn't be in a funk when I'm scrapbooking with others. So it was just interesting that I'm like, yeah, that happens to me all the time. And she was like, okay, well, that's good. It makes me feel a bit better. And I'm like, well, I'm not great at it. I just try it and I make it work. And if it doesn't work, then I throw it out. It's usually just some cardstock, which isn't so cheap in Australia, but it's better than, you know, $20, $30 worth of product on a whole layout being thrown out. So anyway, as I've been rambling on, I've made those photo flowers and leaf clusters, and they just weren't complementing the page to the way I wanted them. So you see I've pulled off the title. I was like, that's not where it needs to be. And then I am just trying to work out how I want the layout to go. And I'm one of those people that if I don't finish a layout in the same day, so in the same kind of scrapbooking session, then I won't finish it, because when I come back, everything will be totally different in my head and it just won't work, or I'll forget about it and it'll just sit in a pile somewhere and just not be used. So, you know, I can make something and wait for it to dry while I'm making something else. If, you know, I'm like, okay, I'm here tonight for a couple of hours to scrapbook. This is not working, but I'll transfer that. That's fine. But a lot of the time, I'll just persevere until I find something that's working for me. So you can see I've stripped it back. I've kept it minimal. I put that hello down there, and I'm just trying to work out what kind of little bits and pieces I'm going to put under that hello with those hearts to finish the cluster and finish the page, really. So I've got this one that says on a journey, and I like the blue, so we're going with a bit of a blue and a pink color theme, and I write that there because I don't know if you can see, I'm sure you can see, the selfies are, like, I felt really nice. I put some makeup on. Granted, I don't, you know, it's not the best, but I was like, oh, I better take a selfie while I'm actually, you know, tried today. But of course, I couldn't get the angle right for what I liked, and none of the photos were working out. I just didn't like them. And so it's sort of like, hello, I'm on a journey to find the perfect selfie, or to work out even how to take a selfie. So that is my title and subtitle, a bit of a poking the fun, tongue-in-cheek kind of a a title and journaling, but really, if I don't use these crazy selfies, then I'm not going to be properly in the album. So it's just me and the boys, so it's a bit tricky to take a photo of the three of us. So while I've made that photo, why do I keep saying photo for flower? That flower cluster down the bottom there, I'm going to add some gold Heidi Swap colour shine just to add some splatters. Just because it was a bit too flat, and there's those pink splatters down the bottom, but it's sort of the pink up the top was just too bare. So I'm just adding some splatters, just in that little diagonal kind of a look. Obviously, diagonal is my go-to. Like I've said it a couple of times, I've done quite a few voiceovers this weekend, and it's not the first time I've said it about a layout. But we all have to have our go-tos, our little style and whatnot. So yeah, definitely let me know down below what's your go-to in terms of creating a scrapbooking layout. So it needed some gold up the top, which is why I added the gold swap Heidi Swap colour shine, because it needed some gold, and I realised that I had those leaves and those smaller leaves, so they're going to go up there to help balance out the gold in the word hello. I added a flower up the top and just having to play with the little bits and pieces. I'm not going to over embellish it. I wanted to keep it simple. I like the layout with that big bulk of tulle and then those three photos, so that's what draws your eye immediately to it. I didn't want to have big embellishment clusters, which is what was happening before with the leaves and flowers. So instead, making it more simple means that the big part of it, the flower, the photos and the tulle, is what stands out when you are first looking at it. It's going to put this phrase that says love you and cover it with the flower so that it's overlapping. Mostly because I didn't want the you on there, just love was fine. But also because I wanted that layering to be connected. And couldn't do that if I had the whole two words on there. So just making sure that's sitting where I want it. And pretty much there is not much else to this layout. If you are sitting down and you're not too sure how it's looking, then make sure you lift up your page or stand up and get a bird's eye view, just so you can see the whole thing in the proper angle, because sometimes when your paper is down on the table, you can't see it in the way that you would normally see it. So that's my little tip to make sure you're going in the direction that you want it to go into. So just added that heart to finish it off, and that is done. So I will catch you next week for April design team projects. See you then. Bye.